I don't need to learn how to negotiate because I don't need to negotiate my salary right now. This is one of the number one mistakes people make when they are thinking about negotiating their salary. And today we're going to talk about what you can do to get on the front foot.
To 20 years working in leadership, growth, and transformation with businesses from startups through to the leading corporates, I now help professionals to negotiate their salary and their experience at work so that you can make more money and live life on your terms. You could say this is helping you to step into the CEO role of your own life. This is the CEO in You podcast with Melissa Hartmann. I am Melissa Hartmann, and I am so glad you're here with me today. Let's dive into today's episode.
Welcome to episode 2 of the podcast. And today we are talking about whether or not you should wait until you need to negotiate your salary to learn that skill and capability. And I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anyone that I say that that is a terrible idea. But let's talk about why it's such a terrible idea. And so let me start by telling you a story. So I was in Mexico in December. Now, as many of you can probably tell, I'm from Australia. To get to Mexico from Australia is a really long flight. You've got to go through Los Angeles usually. And so to get there can be up to 30 hours. It took me 33 to get home. So getting to Mexico, there's usually not that many Australians there. There are, however, lots of Americans there because clearly it's a lot closer geographically. Anyway, so I went to this gorgeous seaside town in Mexico and was talking with this woman about our experience of being there. Now she was from Texas, so again, really close to where we were, just a short flight. And she was telling me how she came down to this town where we were staying, and she came down 2 or 3 times a year. And so I said to her, "Oh, how's your Spanish?" I love learning languages. It's a real passion for me. And so yeah, I said, "How's your Spanish?" And she said, "Oh, it's not very good." It's not very good. I mean, you're just there. Like you can just get on a quick flight and be here in a few hours. And she said, "You know what? I'm just waiting until I've got 8 weeks at home, and then I'm going to do an intensive language program at this school in my neighborhood. Now, I know it's a really good program, and that's going to help me learn my Spanish. I've just got to wait until I'm home for 8 weeks in a row for that to happen." And I said to her, but you've been doing these programs down here for years. She's like, yeah, quite a few years now. And you've been waiting to learn Spanish for all of those years until you can get a block at home. And she said, yeah. I was like, I said, look, I'm not doing it perfectly, but I've been learning on the app, on the Duolingo app. She said, oh, yeah, but I want to learn it properly. And I said, well, since I have been here as an Australian where Spanish is not widely spoken, while I have been in Mexico, there have been multiple situations where I have been the best Spanish speaker. And I've learnt on the app and I do it for a few minutes a day. And I could see the cogs ticking in her head. You see, while she'd been waiting for this perfect situation to line up where she had a block of time where she could devote herself to this topic that she could dive right into and learn it perfectly and practically and really intentionally for a long period of time, I'd just been getting on with it. And so I've got 600 plus days of practicing Spanish under my belt. And I'm not a native Spanish speaker, but I can have a really clunky conversation and I can speak some Spanish because I didn't wait until I had this perfect time lined up to do it. I just got on with it and learned it. And this is the benefit of taking small steps in the direction of your dreams, is that these tiny little steps every single day to become better at something. And all of a sudden, when we actually need them, in my case, when I was in Mexico, where that is the predominant language spoken, we already have the skills and capabilities and we're ready to go. And we haven't missed the boat by waiting for the perfect opportunity to dive in and invest and crank it out in a short period of time and become a fluent Spanish speaker. And so that's a real benefit that we can get about starting to learn these skills and capabilities now, is that we are have the ability to practice before we actually need them. Now, another benefit of that is that we really de-risk it all. So we're not sitting there in a high stakes conversation, and it's something that we've only just started learning, and the first time we're negotiating ever in our entire lives is in this situation that's really high stakes, high value for us. So we can take that away if we start learning before we actually need the skill set. And the final thing that can be really beneficial for us in terms of just getting stuck in and started on this topic is I can guarantee you that there are things that you can do this week, next week, this month to help to create momentum in the direction of your dreams and help you to be really intentional about setting that path towards what comes next for you. And so instead of it being a dream, it's a goal. And there's a strategy in place behind it. And there's steps that you're taking and you're moving towards it. And so instead of it being something up here that's in the ether, it's something that you're working towards. And practically, it's just a matter of time until you achieve it. And this is one of the key things that we do in my program. So one of the things that I talk about is the biggest things you can be doing to set yourself up for success, and not just the success now, but the success into the future. So you're planting seeds for your future success today. As soon as you start the program, you're doing that. And one of the key pieces of feedback I got from one of my clients was, he said, "Oh, I know how to set myself up for success now. I know I'm not ready for a job change yet. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. I'm doing this piece of work. It's great, but I'm going to want to move in 6 months. And I know how to set myself up for that success now." So if that sounds like something that would be helpful to you, then you can join the waitlist for my new program. We're kicking off in a few weeks. And this is really about setting ourselves up for success in 2024. It's about how to help you make more money and live life on your terms. And we do that by learning to negotiate our salary and our experience at work. So in the program, we have got workbooks for you so you can work through all the content and prepare yourself beautifully for your negotiation. We have live calls so you can jump in and ask all of your juicy questions. We've got a negotiations vault. So there's a whole lot of scripts in there which you can tailor to really make them fit for purpose for you, but you're never starting from a blank page. And the feedback about them is great. My clients love them. They jump in and they just say, "Oh, they feel so natural when I use them. They don't feel forced or scripted. I can really see myself speaking these words." And that's very much intentional. I design them that way so that you can pick them up, adjust them for your situation and what it is that you're negotiating, and then run with it. So if those are the kinds of things that sound like they would be helpful for you to work on, to get your hands on, you can join the waitlist to my program. You can do that at salarytool.co/waitlist. I'll drop the URL in the show notes below, and we'll be kicking off in a few short weeks. And I cannot wait to have everyone join us who is resonating with this topic, who wants to make more money, who wants to live life on their terms in 2024 and beyond. So if that sounds like you, I can't wait to see you there.
This was the CEO in You podcast with Melissa Hartmann, where we talk about how you can negotiate your salary and your experience at work so that you can make more money and live life on your terms. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Take care.